Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. I was just sitting there checking on my boys, and it kind of made me think about something funny that happened to us in the car the other day. So, when you're young and your parents tell you, oh, yeah, I was kind of, one of those troublemaker kids, and now that I'm dealing with you, it's kind of my payback. How it kind of has that conversation that happens. I remember when I was younger, I used to kind of make fun of people who were bald headed, and it was like a funny thing because I always had like this big nappy afro, and the people that were bald headed was hilarious to us. Now that it came full circle to me, I have two boys now, and I'm bald headed. So my son, my oldest, the other day literally was in the car. We were driving home, and he goes, "Dang, Dad, you're doing bad." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Look at your bald head. You're doing bad." And it just literally made me think about when I was young, like, dang, there it goes. Just like how parents say, dude, it came full circle for me, man. It's like, that's what I get for making fun of bald headed people. The difference is I'm not insecure about it. It is what it is, but it was hilarious because they love my bald head and they love making fun of me. So I wanted to share that with you guys. But we're going to jump into this content here. I got some good stuff that I wanted to touch on here. Starting with this one from BC Backer. It says, breakout in July, and after the rapid descent back to the 200-week moving average, XRP slash BTC pauses to build supports for the last 9 days. So let me click in here. Remember, we were talking about what was going to happen with this and whether we were going to hold it as support or fall through, and it looks like we are holding that support. So and we could have some upside from here. And obviously there's a lot of different narratives going, especially with these spot Bitcoin ETF stuff. And we're getting closer to the Bitcoin halving in I think it's March or April of next year, and a lot of other narratives that are taking place. Obviously, we got the victory in the SC versus Ripple case in regards of the status of XRP. So, hey, this can be the build of something massive, man. And just remember, back in 2018, we hit a high of 340 or 380, depending on the exchange that you were on. Obviously, we haven't seen an all-time high since. So, I mean, this can be absolutely massive moving into this next cycle here. That's why I wanted to start with that one. I wanted to touch on this from Tony. He had put this up. So our old chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton, went back on the Squawk Box, and they weren't asking him questions or putting him on the spot about the SEC versus Ripple case and what happened with the SEC losing the whole XRP not being classified as a security argument. And yeah, they haven't addressed it, but they were talking about Sam Bankman-Fried, right? So Tony says, once again, Squawk Box. It says kowtow to Clayton, no questions on the Ripple and XRP ruling. Jay Coward Clayton did not approve a Bitcoin spot ETF, filed a lawsuit against Ripple, and ran out of the SEC door the next day and worked on a backroom deal with Bill Hinman on the Ethereum free pass while leaving the rest of the altcoins in purgatory. Hashtag pathetic. So obviously we have a lot of conversations going on about people speculating what's going to happen with the spot Bitcoin ETF. Obviously, there's 8, if not more, applications. I think it's 8 applications out there of spot Bitcoin ETF applications. And obviously, Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are in the front, the front of the line. And obviously, they just got theirs delayed on the 13th or postponed on the 13th. And I think their deadline is in January. We all know BlackRock had filed theirs, and all the other applications have followed suit as to what BlackRock did, in regards of Coinbase being their custody partners and their surveillance partner. So we all know that it's just a matter of when, not if, with this thing now. So are they going to approve BlackRock, and proceed forward, or are they going to approve ARK Invest and Cathie Woods in them and approve everybody at the same time? Like, it's kind of just a waiting game. But the cool part is you have Jay Clayton coming out as if like now he all of a sudden has a better understanding and a better view of things, acting as if he didn't have the ability to make the so-called moves. He's talking about doing certain things and improving the spot Bitcoin ETF as if it's just like something that should just happen, which we think it should. But I'm saying he was in that position to make a difference, but he didn't. And that's why Tony Edwards from Thinking Crypto is calling him out. It's like, dude, you were in a position to make an impact, and you chose not to. You chose to, in our opinions, line your pocket and feed your own narrative, which is scandalous. But now you're coming out here playing, what do they call it? What is it? Monday night quarterback, whatever the heck it's called. Yeah, you're over here acting as if like you couldn't, but now you're judging someone else and their current situation and their position as to why they're not doing certain things. But then again, you can't even speak on the lawsuit that you dropped as you're walking out the door. I mean, we know how monumentous and how precedent setting the SEC versus Ripple case was and is. And it's obviously they're still under litigation, but for us, XRP is not a security, so we won. But here's a quote from Jay Clayton. It says, when you have a fraudster like Sam Bankman-Fried, who is deeply intertwined in politics, people will want to take a pause. So we're talking about crypto regulations, and they're obviously going to use this narrative to fit that agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we got to make sure we do this right, and they're going to delay, do whatever they got to do, right? But it's like, okay, well, these Sam Bankman-Fried, FBX, and FTX, they were literally in the pockets, in the closed door meetings with Chairman Gensler and the SEC and other political members. They were donating millions to these campaigns and these political endeavors. And it's been evident. And we have more stuff to talk about here. Meta Lawman's talking about it right here. So Eleanor Tarrant had put this up saying, DOJ Criminal Division files a superseding indictment against Sam Bankman-Fried FTX that alleges Bankman-Fried directed more than $100 million in illegal campaign contributions to Democrat and Republicans. And Meta Lawman says new SBF indictment. This indictment alleges that SBF lobbied members of Congress and, quote, other high-level government officials to promote cryptocurrency regulation that would favor his business and personal interests. This may make Gary Gensler a witness, which means SBF's lawyer will be able to cross-examine Gensler under oath at trial. So you talk about the walls closing in on Chairman Gensler and the SEC. And, all these shady actors that are part of this whole, even the connections to hashtag ETHGate, all the shady stuff in this space, right? They are literally backed into the corner as close as you possibly can be. And just like I covered in our previous video when Dr. Peterson was talking about, you can't alter reality, the fabric of reality. Like, it's going to come back and snap at you. It may not happen right when it happens or right after, but it's going to come back. And this is what's happening. The walls are literally closing in on these people, and especially Chairman Gensler, man. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this thing unfolds. And obviously, we want an investigation when it comes to the whole hashtag ETHGate stuff and just all the shady stuff that we've uncovered in the community. Obviously, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's going to be happening, man. JD had responded saying, quote, help fund over $100 million in campaign contributions to Democrats and Republicans to seek to influence cryptocurrency regulation. Can we now ask to see all the meetings, emails, notes, etc. between Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, and Gary Gensler and the SEC? I mean, for real, what more do you need to be like, oh, okay, this is the cat's out the bag, or the toothpaste is out of the tube. We got to roll this thing out. I mean, really, it's not just the bad actors themselves and the organizations they're in, but what about the other people? Congress. How bad does it look on you when you have all this evidence here? Whether it's completely factual. Obviously, I don't know all the details in the documents and call logs and all that stuff, but I'm saying obviously there's enough here to say, hey, maybe we should look into this. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. And then it's going to start leaking into Warren Davidson and the rest. It's like, dude, you're not doing anything. You're going to go down in history for sitting on your thumbs. I mean, this that was probably inappropriate, but yeah. I mean, you're going to go down in history for really not doing much of anything, but a lot of talking, right? It should be quite interesting to see how this thing unfolds here. I think, like I talk about, if they come out with a documentary, man, just about all the stuff that we've dealt with within like the last half a decade, oh my goodness, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'd pay good money to see that. Yeah, somebody's got to jump on that for sure and do it the right way. JD's responding to Nick Carter's tweet here. Nick says, I've seen enough. Joseph Bankman is just as bad as his reprobate son. Why is he allowed to retain the shame $10 million loan from FTX? Why does he still have an official role at Stanford? So JD says Sam Bankman-Fried gifted $10 million in FTX account in his name and then immediately transferred the money to his father. Sam Bankman-Fried's dad has long taught corporations and tax law at Stanford Law School for decades. Have you seen all the shell corporations his dad helped him set up? His mom runs a PAC to help Democrats, and his daddy helped Elizabeth Warren. This is real estate. This is real estate in Bahamas, is in his parents' name, paid for by FTX. Where are all the charges against his parents? So, I mean, obviously, we talk about this. This spider web is bigger than you think, or this rabbit hole goes deeper than you think. I mean, are these people going to be, is an investigation going to actually happen? Are these people going to be held accountable for their shady acts? I can tell you right now, if you and I were to do any of this, to be a part of any of this, they're coming after us in a heartbeat. We're locked up in a heartbeat. Doesn't matter who we know. Doesn't matter if we got kids. We made a mistake, an honest mistake. We're locked up. And that's just kind of how it is. And that's just the shady nature of, being in a position of wealth and power and having the right connections, if you will. It's crazy, man. It's a shady world, bro. I wanted to touch on this from not financial advice.crypto. Always putting up solid videos and stuff. Great creator. So obviously we saw that video of Warren Davidson talking about CBDCs being evil and how he's not okay with the evil endeavors that Ripple is trying to help these banks set up CBDCs, right? Obviously, that's like a big thing. And we know that CBDCs created and developed and how do you say it? We could just say pushed and developed in a negative light to have massive and full outright control is evil, right? But it can be implemented in a non-evil way and actually do good, right? And I just kind of wanted to read kind of his take on it. It says, the central bank of the U.S. and the Federal Reserve. The U.S. dollar is called a Federal Reserve note and is literally a central bank currency, just not digital yet. The Federal Reserve has been pursuing faster payments in a digital dollar for decades. If the U.S. dollar becomes digital, which is inevitable based on the trends of the fourth industrial revolution, it becomes by definition a CBDC. This is what you're telling people is evil. The ability to program money is powerful, but not inherently evil. It's simply a tool that can be good or bad depending on how you use it. Literally, that's it right there. Depending on how you implement it and how you use it. Not to mention the creation of the U.S. CBDC doesn't mean it would be the only form of U.S. currency anyway, just an option for specific use cases like universal basic income when automation eliminates most job opportunities. Maybe your focus should be on how to make the technology better for the U.S. instead of leading people to believe they should blindly fight it. If the only attention people give this tech is misguided anger, quote, down with evil CBDCs, this will miss the opportunity to discuss real solutions for how the tech can be programmed to better serve our communities when the time comes for an inevitable implementation. Hashtag XRP. I mean, that's a pretty good take. That's a good way to look at it. This is, in my opinion, based on the evidence and the information that's out there, this is happening. It's happening. So why are we still attacking it from that position? Why is it this negative agenda and this negative narrative? You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, just like China and how they're trying to control all these things, right? It's like, okay, well, what can we do to be different? How can we implement this the correct way? How can this be more beneficial for us and our people and how to make our lives more simple and innovative? I mean, that's literally what has to happen. It's not to say that those conversations aren't happening. Obviously, this is just one gentleman in his opinion, but he's in a position of power. He's a congressman, so as a representative. But yeah, that's a great take. Moving on here, I wanted to touch on this. It's from Alex Cobb. So this was going around like crazy. Michael Burry just loaded up a huge short position against the U.S. stock market. Last time he bet big against the U.S. was 15 years ago. Who's ready for the new movie, The Big Short 2? So I think it was like 1 point something billion. I mean, a crazy number. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens here. People are speculating that, dude, he's about to lose that money. It's like 90-something% of his portfolio or something like that. I don't know. Just interesting to talk about and kind of see. It's going to be curious to see kind of what happens. This is from Wellwire too. They touched on it. It says, just in, Michael Burry has opened a massive leverage short position on the stock market. 93% of Michael Burry's portfolio is currently short market indexes. The last time he made a bet big like this was his famous 2008 recession prediction. Well, I mean, we'll see, I guess. That's a lot of capital right there. I mean, let's see right here. We're currently sitting at a 1.2 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 29,347. Ethereum sitting at 1841. XRP sitting at 63 cents. Bitcoin Fair greeted next sitting at a 53. And the reason why I don't be like covering all of these, because I'm sure, you know, if you're watching this channel, you're probably all checking all your coin market caps or your coin geckos or paprikas, whatever you use to always check out the other ones. These are just like the big ones, in my opinion, that I like to cover. And obviously, you know, on this channel, I just cover interesting facts and falsehoods and stories and things that I find interesting that I want to have a conversation about. That's why I only touch on these things, just to kind of be as brief as possible. I know you're looking at these things. If you want me to look at, you know, something else, you know, put it in the comments, and yeah, I would definitely look at it. I mean, I'm in this space heavy pretty much every day, and I don't mind talking about certain things. You know, if I find it interesting, I want to have a conversation about it. But that's all I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key conversation. Oh, wait. Before I do that, the gentleman who reached out on the last video, man, and put out those kind words, man, from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate you. Just you viewing the channel, subscribing, liking it, and taking the time, most importantly, to reach out and share, you know, and express yourself and share kind words, man. That goes a long way for me. I do this as a hobby, and I love to do it. I really enjoy this, but, you know, when I receive those comments, it really makes it all that much more better, man. I don't need, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers. Yes, it would be great, but I mean, if I can have a great following and a great community of gentlemen like that, and, you know, even ladies in this channel or in this community that put out great comments and stuff, like that's really enough for me. So I just want to say, hey, I really appreciate you, and I'm gonna keep rocking with you. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.